You clicked on this video because you are a savvy business owner. You are ready to grow. You want to make sure that you're doing business well so that you can win. You've come to the right place. Hi, I am Alicia, your business advocate, here to coach you through steps to strategically set up the compliance of your business so that you can do business well and win, so that your business can be protected, it can grow to scale, and it can have longevity and dominate in your market. Welcome to the Biz Startup Program. Let's get into it. Do you want your business to work? Do you want it to do well? Is there a little concern somewhere inside of you that maybe there's something that you're missing? Are you really eager to dominate your market and win? And you want to make sure that you have everything together so that you can have a business that is profitable, that is established, where you don't have to worry about the rug being swept from under you because you just didn't know a simple point? Are you here to rock it with business? Most people say an emphatic yes to all of those questions, but the reality is most business owners, especially as new small business owners, do not understand the importance and the necessity of a sound corporate compliance strategy. And that is why we're here today. We're going to talk about what corporate compliance is, why it is essential to the health and protection of your business, and why when you set it up, you are going to win. Let's be real. Most of the time, quick fixes do not work in business. I work with corporations day in and day out, primarily in the nonprofit sector, but I've had the opportunity in my personal life to help work with friends and colleagues to set up multiple businesses. And I have found that quick fixes don't work. Let me tell you a story. I've been working to lose weight. I know I look good, but I want to be healthy. And if someone says, hey, do you want to be healthy? You want to have a long life? Do you want to enjoy the life you have? I'm like, yes. But the steps to working it out are hard. And I've looked at the quick fixes. I've tried a couple. They don't work for me. And when I talk with people, I have a friend who's a nutritionist, talked with medical professionals whom I really trust. And the key is always longevity, consistency, not giving up. And I have found that the same comes for business. You looking for a quick fix? Here's a website to quickly, easily set up your LLC or to set up your corporation. You can set it up quickly and you can lose it all quickly if you don't actually know what you're doing and you don't know how to keep it going and keep it in order. And I've worked with a lot of corporations that went to someone who was like, yeah, I'll help you set up your business quickly. I'll help you get it all in order quickly. It's easy. It doesn't take all that. And then months later or years later, they miss out on funding. They miss out on activities. They lose their corporation and they're in the dark and worried. Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I keep operating? Can I keep fulfilling my mission? They have fines, hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars in fines that they're paying because they set things up quickly without understanding what they were doing with their corporations. And they didn't understand the corporate compliance steps that were necessary to keep their corporations going well. So where do we start? With getting our businesses set up in a way that they're protected, that as we're creating our products and creating our services and marketing and building and connecting and networking, we have a sound structure through which to operate. We're going to start with a key phrase I want you to always remember, and it is called the corporate veil. I've got a little definition here. The corporate veil is a legal concept. It separates the actions of the corporation from the individual shareholders, owners, employees, and members who may be within that organization. And it protects them from being liable for the actions of the company. And what this does is it creates a line of demarcation so that whatever is going on in your personal life, if you go through a lawsuit, if you have legal steps that you have to take, if you personally lose it all in a fire or a flood, which We're not looking for that to happen, but when life hits hard, your business and its assets are protected, and vice versa. If and when life hits hard for your business and it goes through turmoil, your own personal assets are protected. That is the corporate veil. Now, when we set up our corporate compliance structure and processes and systems, which is essential to any good business, you see any business with longevity, they have this down packed. They're doing it right. They're doing it well. They have teams dedicated to this stuff. So what we're doing when we're setting up this great corporate compliance structure is we are setting up the corporate veil and setting up things in place so as not to pierce the corporate veil. So here's another corporate phrase, piercing the corporate veil. Remember this one too. Piercing the corporate veil refers to circumstances in which courts set aside that limited liability, that protection, that distinction that all of your corporate structure sets up to delineate, this is the business, this is you, you're working and managing this entity, but it's not you. When the corporate veil is pierced, the courts are saying that liability protection that keeps your life, your assets, you safe from when the business enters into legal issues. When the corporate veil is pierced, you no longer have that liability protection, and you, the owners, the shareholders, can be held personally liable for the demands, the legal demands on the business, or any fines or taxes or negative ramifications for operating incorrectly, or just the hardship, even if you've done things well, of going through some kind of litigation or legal issue because of whatever unjust reason. So then that means that you are personally responsible for the debts and the liabilities of your business. And as I was researching this, I found that a statement here that corporate veil piercing is one of the common reasons why corporations close. Something happens, it enters into litigation, it's sued or something like that, and the business didn't have a proper corporate structure to delineate the owners and the shareholders from the corporate entity itself. So when the corporation entered into litigation, the owner's own assets and earnings and whatnot had to be used or were no longer protected in order to address and deal with and answer that litigation. So when you create a corporate entity, a business entity with your state, and when you set up these essential corporate documents, what you're doing is saying this business is an entity of its own. It's not human, biological. It's an artificial legal entity. And I, as a director or an owner or a shareholder, I manage this entity, but it is not me. So whatever it goes through, I'm here to manage it and work it. But if this business entity enters into a lawsuit or has to pay fines or has any debts that it owes, it's not affecting me because you have a clear trail and manner of operation that keeps your business separate from you. Here's why this is important. Here's a court case I found. Woodruff Construction LLC versus Clark, number 17-1422 in the Iowa Court of Appeals, August 15th, 2018, fairly recent. The owner of a biosolids management business agreed to provide services for a customer, and then it failed to do so. He dropped the ball big time, and it cost the customer a lot of money. So the customer sued the business, and at first the customer lost, but then they appealed the court, so Court of Appeals in Iowa, and they won. Here's why. The business owner of the biosolids management company did not have sufficient records to show that the business entity was separate from the owner. So the owner was sued, and it was like initially the Iowa courts ruled, no, well, you can't sue the owner, you have to sue the company. But in the Court of Appeals, it was found that the owner mixed his finances with the finances of his company, and he used his own personal banking account to pay for the needs of the corporation. So the financial records were all mixed. It was a common way of piercing the corporate veil. Another thing that could have happened, I'm not saying it did in this case because particularly this one had to do with finances, but They could have, let's say his corporation was no longer active in his state, that he didn't file the records to keep it active. Or by commingling funds, when he did his business taxes, some of his personal funds were included. When he his personal taxes, some of the income of his business apart from salary. So salary is completely different. The corporation can pay you, but all of that stuff was mixed up. So the court ruled that the business was just an alter ego. An alter ego isn't another entity, it's just another thing that you use through which to operate. So alter egos, as stated in this case, an alter ego is a mere shell serving no legitimate business purpose and used primarily as an intermediary to perpetuate fraud or promote injustice. Therefore, the corporate veil was pierced. How do you keep and maintain this corporate veil? What's necessary? It's having a good, sound corporate governance structure and plan. Now, this is a fancy way to saying having basic, sound practices within your business to manage and govern the legal aspects of it. You can do this just you yourself. There are lots of solo business owners that manage their businesses on their own, and they do it very well. This isn't just a little technicality, just a thing you got to do, get it on there, get it on paper. No, you really want to be invested in keeping having a corporate governance structure and managing it appropriately. And that's what we're going to go through in this program, is some basic steps to keep your business running well. Let me give you a good definition of corporate governance. When you own a business, you are ruling over a domain. You are a ruler of a kingdom that is your business. And it's powerful and it's heady. It can be intoxicating. Like, this is my thing. This is my own thing. And it rises and it falls on how well I rule this. So you want to do your business well. You have a lot of power, even with a brand new business. The potential that you have in your business to reach people, to affect lives, to make changes. And even for businesses that maybe you're selling something that is very practical. Let's say someone starts a business selling vacuum cleaners. The power that you have to affect change with the resources that you get from that, it's a lot. And with that power and the potential for that power comes great responsibility that you want to manage well now. And so that's why you want to have a good corporate governance structure. Corporate governance is the structure and the processes by which a corporation or business, because not all businesses are corporations. So it's the structure and the processes by which a corporation is operated and administrated. So we're talking about a framework for who's going to run the business, how they're going to run the business, and the guardrails set in place to run it correctly as far as your legal, fiscal, and administrative matters. Okay. The governance determines how decisions will be made and carried out. And it takes some strategy. And the strategy is going to look different from a one-person business to a 100-employee business with a board of directors and shareholders. But there are some essentials that will always remain. As I was researching, I found this great quote, and this is what it said about governance and compliance and how they're linked. Even though corporate governance and compliance are linked, there are some key differences between them. For instance, governance is focused on how the organization will perform in the long run. Therefore, you'll have to have a strategic point of view when it comes to making decisions like choosing service providers or vendors that your company will use. On the other hand, compliance is all about having a tactical mindset. You'll be tasked with meeting a particular set of regulations, and you'll need to decide how to make the necessary changes to meet them. So compliance is about meeting the regulations that set up the structure for your business so that you can govern it and run it and pursue your mission with peace and power. With peace of mind, everything being in order and structured well, and power, the strength and the agility and longevity to accomplish your goals. So I'm going to call compliance and corporate governance the structure and the systems that you need to run your business well. So our takeaway from this is that compliance is administered through the governmental structure, but just because you have a corporate governance structure, you've got your organization set up with your state, you have your board, you have your owners, you have your shareholders, you have the documents, doesn't mean it's compliant. You have to have the systems to run it well too. And so you want to have a governing body set in place to do that. In our next couple of videos, we're going to be talking about how to choose the right governance structure and the compliance steps to take that you'll need to take and set in place at any level in order to run the business well. All right, thank you for joining me in this first video about corporate compliance. Go ahead and check out video number 2 in this series, 7 steps to set up your business. So now we know about corporate compliance and the corporate veil and why compliance is necessary. We're going to do an overview of the 7 steps to put these things in place. And then in the videos after that, we're going to go into detail about all 7 steps. You don't want to miss this series. Go ahead and subscribe. You know you'll want to. And go ahead and click that notification bell so that every time we release another video that is here to help you establish and maintain corporate compliance so you can protect your business, do business well, and win, you'll get the notification. Thank you for coming and learning and growing with me. I'm happy and glad to be your advocate and your business compliance coach. I believe in you. So let's go do business well and win. I will catch you in the next video.